Thousands of years ago, the nation of Israel, the people God chose to reveal himself to the world through, had turned their back on him. They began worshiping other gods, and an evil man named Ahab was now king of Israel. In order to win back his people, God sent a man named Elijah to speak for him to the people of Israel. "Turn away from your false gods and your evil king, and return to the one true God." Man, why you gotta do me like that? Now I've gotta kill you. This is unfortunate. And it was. It was unfortunate. Ahab sent people to kill Elijah, but God protected him. Elijah fled to the wilderness, and even though God had caused there to be no rain and no food in the land of Israel, God brought food and water to Elijah. Years later, Elijah returned to Israel to battle the prophets of the false god that Israel had worshipped, and God caused Elijah to win.
All I do is win, 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 no matter what. Got money on my mind, I can never get enough. And every time I step up in the building, everybody hands go up. And they stay there, and they say yeah, and they say that.
Yet even though Elijah's victory over the false prophets caused many in Israel to worship the true God once again, the evil king Ahab's wife, Jezebel, still hated Elijah. "Can we just, kill this guy?" "Yeah, I've tried that before, but it didn't work out too well." "Aw, honey, I'm so sorry." "I know, it was so hard." "It's just because you're stupid, but I'm not. I will have Elijah dead by tomorrow. Bye." So when Elijah heard of Jezebel's death threats against him, this is unfortunate. And it was. It was unfortunate. So once again, Elijah fled to the wilderness, but this time he was so afraid of these threats against him that he just wanted to give up. "Man, I'm done. This is just too hard. I've done so much for you, God, but still I have these people trying to kill me. I'm so worried and I'm so afraid and I'm just so tired." So Elijah laid down underneath a tree, ready to give up. But God heard Elijah's prayer and cared deeply for him. So God sent an angel to feed Elijah once again. "Wake up, Elijah. It's time to eat." Because that's how angels talk. So Elijah ate. But even though God fed Elijah like he had all those years ago in the wilderness, Elijah still wanted to give up. So he fell asleep again, and once again God sent an angel to Elijah. "Elijah, you need to eat and drink. We gotta get those electrolytes up." Leave me alone. Look, I get that God's trying to remind me how he's taken care of me in the past, but I don't think you realize how many people want me dead. "Look, just drink this drink so you'll have enough strength for your journey." My journey? Where am I going? Do I need to pack? Do I need a coat? Is it going to be cold? Do I need formal wear? "Elijah, you worry too much. Now come on, we've got to get you to Mount Sinai." So Elijah traveled 40 days and 40 nights to Mount Sinai, the mountain of God, the mountain where God led the Israelite people when he led them out of slavery in Egypt. Once again, God was reminding Elijah of how he had taken care of those he loves in the past. Elijah came to a cave at Mount Sinai and stayed the night there. "Man, this drink really did replenish my electrolytes. It's amazing." "Yes, we call it Gatorade. It's both delish and nutrish." "God, is that you?" "Yes, Elijah. What are you doing here?" What do you mean, what am I doing here? The angel led me here because I'm giving up. I don't know if you've noticed or not, but I've got a lot of stress. I mean, what with the king and queen and all my own people trying to kill me, it's just got me #too stressed to be blessed. "Elijah, shut up. Go outside and stand before me." So Elijah went outside the cave and stood before the mountain, waiting on God to appear. And as Elijah waited, God passed by, and when he did, a giant wind shook the mountain so hard that rocks tore off the mountain. "God, are you there?" But God wasn't in the wind. Moments later, an earthquake erupted on the mountain, and Elijah thought surely God was in the earthquake. Surely God was in this earthquake, but he wasn't. Next, fire exploded in front of Elijah. Now, my wife won't let me set a fire in our dining room, so to represent fire, I'm bringing down the new Drake track because this song is fire. Get it? Anyway, still, God was not in the fire. But after the fire, out of the silence, came a gentle whisper, a still small voice. This was God. "What are you doing here?" We've been over this, God. I've got all these people coming to kill me. Elijah, listen. Go back to Israel. You are not alone. Even now in your fear, I am with you. I am on your side. And in the land of Israel, there are 7,000 people who have never worshipped the false god. They are on your side. No harm will come to you. There is no reason to be afraid. I am with you and I will take care of you just as I always have. And God kept his promise. Elijah returned to Israel and no harm came to him. He even got to leave the world in a chariot of fire, but that's a story for another time.
Have you ever been in a situation like Elijah? Ever felt so stressed or worried that you just want to give up and do nothing because you didn't know what you could do? When I was growing up, people used to say that there are two kinds of responses in every stressful situation: fight or flight. Whenever a person is in a stressful or dangerous situation, they will react in one of those two ways. They will either run towards the problem and try and solve it, or fight, or they will run away from the situation, take flight, and ignore it. But recently, psychologists have said that there's another response in these kind of situations. It's not just fight or flight. Other people freeze. They don't handle the scary situation. They don't run from their worries. They just freeze. They do nothing. I think this is where Elijah is. He's worried. He's stressed. And so he just wants to give up. Ever been there before? So what do we do with that level of stress and worry? What do you do when you're so overwhelmed, so scared that you don't even think you can function? Well, the past few weeks, we've been talking about how the answer to our worry is to trust God, to seek God, to live for God, and trust that He's in control of everything we're afraid of. But what do we do when it feels like our fears and worries are so big that we can't think about or focus on anything else? Maybe we need to do what Elijah needed to do. We need to slow down and listen for God. You see, Elijah was so worried and distracted by his own problems that he couldn't hear God until God got his attention. Through a giant fire and wind and earthquake, God got Elijah's attention enough to speak to Elijah in a gentle whisper. And in this gentle whisper, God reminded Elijah, I'm still in control. You're so worried, you're so afraid, but I'm in control. Do you know why God whispered to Elijah? Why he didn't come speak in a loud, booming voice over the fire or wind or earthquake? God whispers because he's close. He doesn't have to yell. God is close to us when we're afraid and worried, and he wants to say, why are you so afraid? Haven't I proved to you in the past that I will take care of you? Just like God showed Elijah how he had taken care of him all of his life, God wants to show you, you can trust me. I've proved myself to you. You don't have to worry. You don't have to give up. You can trust me. But God isn't going to scream at you. He's not going to yell. He wants you to draw close enough to him for him to whisper to you that he loves you. God wants to comfort you. He wants to take care of you, but you won't feel it until you turn to him when you're worried. So the next time you're stressed out, the next time you freak out and you worry, the next time you don't know what to do, what if you turn to God? What if you asked him to take care of your worries? What if you trusted that just like he took care of Elijah and he's taking care of you, he'll do it again because he loves you and he's close enough to whisper. You just have to listen. Talk about that in your groups and then we'll move on.